and gentlemen, as we continue our journey through this grand celebration, it's time to recognize and honor excellence. The moment we all have been waiting for is here, the prize distribution ceremony.
In this spirit of achievements and recognition, we gather here to applaud the hard work and dedication of our students. It's a moment to celebrate their outstanding accomplishments. For the same, I request Principal Sir to escort all the dignitaries to the stage. Please, sir.
Our students have not just excelled academically, but have also demonstrated excellence in various co-curricular activities.
Today, we come together to reward their commitment and patience. The prizes we are about to distribute represent more than just trophies and certificates.
They symbolize the values of perseverance, determination, and the pursuit of excellence.
As we commence this prize distribution, let's remember that every award represents a story of countless hours of effort, a pursuit of knowledge, and a commitment to being the best.
Moving towards the prize distribution, we have some scholars who have brightened up the name of Shrikanwartara Public Higher Secondary School, Mandleshwar. So, first we have Rudra Jaiswal, who secured first position in class 3rd. So first, we have Rudra Jaiswal, who secured first position in class 3rd. We request Mr. and Mrs. Arun Kumar Jaiswal to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Next, we have Adya Saraf, who secured first position in class 5th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Vikas Saraf to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success.
Next, we have Akruti Upadhyay, who secured first position in class 5th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dheeraj Upadhyay to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. The best view comes after the hardest climb.
पेरेंट्स प्लीज़ ध्यान दीजिए, जब तक स्टेज से अनाउंस ना हो कृपया बच्चों को लेने ना जाए. Once again I request all the parents, please do not go to take your children until and unless it is announced from the stage. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Asmi Belapurkar, who secured first position in class 6th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Kapil Belapurkar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Success is a journey, not a destination. Next, we have Vedika Patidar, who secured first position in class 7th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Deepak Patidar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. It seems impossible until it's done.
Next, we have Vrinda Bellore, who secured first position in class 8. We request Mr. and Mrs. Ashwin Bellore to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. If you think positive, then positive things will happen.
Next, we have Ronak Patel, who secured first position in class 10th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Rajesh Patel to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Believe in yourself, and then you will be unstoppable.
Next, we have Bhavik Surana, who secured first position in class 10th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Shailendra Surana to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow you want.
Next, we have Amruta Agrawal, who secured first position in class 11th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Rachit Agrawal to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.
Next, we have Rudra Pratap Singh Sisodia, who secured first position in class 11. Next, we have Rudra Pratap Singh Sisodia, who secured first position in class 11th Maths. We request Mr. and Mrs. Kuldeep Singh Sisodia to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Success is not about luck, it's about hard work and determination.
Next, we have Manvi Bagme, who secured first position in class 11th. We request Mr. and Mrs. Vitesh Bagme to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Hardik Billa, who secured first position in class 11th Commerce. We request Mr. and Mrs. Devendra Billa to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. वहाँ तूफान भी हार जाते हैं जहाँ कश्तियाँ जिद पर होती है.
Next, we have Saloni Jain, who secured first position in 12th Maths. We request Mr. and Mrs. Vijay Jain to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. The harder you work for something, the greater you will feel when you achieve it. Saloni Jain, who secured first position in 12th Maths. We request Mr. and Mrs. Vijay Jain to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Manasvi Prajapat, who secured first position in class 12 Bio. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dinesh Prajapat to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Mayank Singh, who secured first position in class 12 with 95.6% and also a district topper. We request Mr. and Mrs. Yogendra Singh to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am. Now, in the series of prize distribution, we have some athletes.
There may be people that have more talent than you, but there is no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do.
जोरदार तालियां मयंक सेंगर के लिए. He was a district topper in class 12. As well, he was selected in Delhi University. And apart from that, he also clinched trophy since he was the topper of the Khargone district. We heartily congratulate him.
Now, in the series, first we have Arzu Patidar, who got selected in state level cricket championship. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dipesh Patidar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
It is far better to be exhausted from success than to be wasted from failure. Next, we have Tanisha Patidar, who got selected in state level cricket championship. Under 19, we request Mr. and Mrs. Mahesh Patidar to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Harsh Patidar, who got selected in state level volleyball championship under 19. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dinesh Patidar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Darsh Patidar, who got selected in state level volleyball championship. We request Mr. and Mrs. Rajesh Patidar to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Nitin Patidar, who got selected in state level volleyball championship under 17. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dilip Patidar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Yash Patidar, who got selected in state level volleyball championship under 17. We request Mr. and Mrs. Pavan Patidar to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Radhe Patidar, who got selected in state level volleyball championship under 14. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dilip Patidar to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Rajveer Shekhawat, who got selected in state level volleyball championship under 14. We request Mr. and Mrs. Lokendra Singh Shekhawat to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Rudra Mewade, who got selected in state level cricket championship under 17. We request Mr. and Mrs. Dinesh Mewade to please come up on the stage. Please, sir. Next, we have Mandeep Singh Chabra, who got selected in IIT Roorkee. We request Mr. and Mrs. Ravindra Chabra to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
राह संघर्ष की जो चलता है वही संसार को बदलता है. जिसने रातों से है जंग जीती, सुबह सूर्य बनकर वही चमकता है.
It's really a proud moment that Mandeep Singh Chabra, along with continuing his class 12th, in his first attempt, he got selected in IIT. A huge round of applause. पहली बार में IIT में सिलेक्शन हो गया है मनदीप छाबड़ा का.
Next, we have Vedansh Bhatore, who got selected in IIT Nagpur. We would also like to invite Mr. and Mrs. Navneet Bhatore to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Kumkum Gupta, who got selected in Government Medical College, Ratlam. We would also like to call Mr. and Mrs. Prakash Gupta to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Revanshi Karma, who got selected in NIT Suratkal. We would also like to invite Mr. and Mrs. Sanjay Karma to please come upon the stage.
Next, we have Meet Soni, who got selected in NIT Uttarakhand. We would also like to invite Mr. and Mrs. Sachin Sohani to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
संजय कर्मा रेवांशी
की हाँ once again sorry sir रेवांशी को बोलो
Revanshi Karma, who got selected in NIT Suratkal. We would also like to welcome Mr. and Mrs. Sanjay Karma to please come upon the stage.
राणा सर मीट सोनी अच्छा
Next, we have Tanu Payasi, who got selected in NIT Silchar. We would also like to invite Mr. and Mrs. Ajay Payasi to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
Next, we have Reet Jaiswal, who got selected in Delhi University. We request Mr. and Mrs. Lalit Jaiswal to please come up on the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
May I speak? The child prodigy, Kundan Shah, whose name got registered in Guinness Books of World Record, the youngest male numerologist to practice astrology as a profession at the age of 17 years as per June 30, 2023. We request Mr. and Mrs. Lalit Jaiswal to please come upon the stage. Please, sir and ma'am.
one trophy got exchanged that will
Thank you all the dignitaries to join us.
कहाँ गई बच्ची but they are there already
Thank you so much all the dignitaries for joining us.